All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. My
Happy
global
Tuesday.
right. I know we had some people. The GEG India. I think it's tomorrow there. Hello. I know you had some comments on this. Hope you get to watch the recording. If not, let us know. They were very interested in your app smashing. So I am Bonnie Chalette from the GEG South Louisiana, and I am here with who we got? I can't do this.
Amanda.
Amanda Jones.
And Heather White.
Heather White. We have a whole show just about me not being able to point the right way. And they're here from Livingston, which, by the way, shout out to Livingston Parish for doing such a good job, for real, with distance learning. I've thoroughly been impressed. I really think my teachers. Side note, there was a big red button on the back to school shelf, like by all the pencils, and who doesn't need like a big button? So I bought it and then accidentally sent it to school with Sadie. So her teacher has this button and was like, "Who gave me this?" And Sadie said, "I thought you would want her to have it."
Well, yeah, why not? Who doesn't want it?
Like,
no.
why you went, nah. Yeah. So did she do it? Because that's important. Like, as long as she uses the button. So we're here talking about app smashing. I know everybody's got a super busy September. So if you're watching the recording, awesome. I'm going to let these two ladies have it. And I'm going to be in the background answering your questions. If you've got a question, put it in the chat. Type in the Twitter where you're from. And if you've got any questions, where you teach, we're glad you're here. Which of you ladies going to be sharing first?
I'm going to share first.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to share her screen. And like I said, I'll be in the background. You are in great hands.
Yay. All right. Is that mine?
That would be yours.
Okay. So do you see my screen now?
I see you. You are good to go.
Good to go. Because once I start sharing my screen, I can't see anything. So I can't see myself. So our 2 cents, back to school app smashing with Heather White and Amanda Jones. If you would like a copy of the presentation, we have it right here. You can scan that, and we will also show that towards the end so that you can get a copy of our presentation. My name is Amanda Jones. I am the 2020 Louisiana School Librarian of the Year. I'm a teacher librarian at Live Oak Middle School in Watson, which is a 5th and 6th grade school. You can follow me on Twitter at AdMac33, or you can follow my school library at LO Middle Library. We are going to be talking about smashing a couple of apps with Wakelet today. So I wanted to point out I am a Wakelet ambassador. So if you have any questions about Wakelet, feel free to email me or ask me on Twitter or whatever.
My name is Heather White. I have been teaching for 20 years up until this year, and I just became an instructional technology facilitator with Livingston Parish Schools. So I assist teachers K through 12 with, just the different things that you can do with technology in the classroom. I am also a Wakelet ambassador, a Google certified educator and trainer, and ISTE certified educator as well. So any questions you have about anything, email me, hit me up on the Twitter, and I'd be happy to help you out with something.
I need to get the ISTE certification one day, maybe. Get you to help me, Heather.
I will totally do it.
All right. So some of you might be asking yourself, what is app smashing? And I wish I knew how to pronounce Greg's last name. I don't want to butcher it. Greg with a K. Is credited with creating the term app smashing. And it's basically when you use the process of you're combining multiple apps together to create one final task or project. So Heather and I are going to go through. We're going to show you several of our favorite ways to smash some apps.
Shannon Moore, I'm about 6'1". Sorry, I got a question about how tall am I? So go ahead.
How tall you are?
6'1". Yeah.
Yes. I like to stand between you and my friend Susan because she's also 6'1", and then because I usually am the tall one, so I like to stand next to y'all. First thing we're going to talk about is Wakelet, and a couple of things you can do with Wakelet. You can pretty much smash Wakelet with anything, but in particular, I'm going to talk to you about Flipgrid and Forms because with with distance learning, we're in like a hybrid schedule right now. And so I'm collaborating with a lot of teachers at my school to provide lessons in the content areas in conjunction with the library. And so I've been doing a lot of lessons where I've been smashing Wakelet, Flipgrid, and forms together. So I want to show you first an example of that. So this is my Wakelet for an e-card. So I did an e-card lesson. All of our kids have an e-card with our public library. And so I wanted to teach the students how to use their e-cards. So one way I used Flipgrid and forms was in Wakelet, you can directly record a Flipgrid short. So I recorded a Flipgrid short. Hey students, did you know that and I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it's basically me talking, kind of introducing the lesson. And you can scroll down. You can add video links. I put in a video link on how they can find their e-card numbers and some links to public library. So, but then what I did was I inserted a form in here, which the teachers were using as sort of a little assessment to see, make sure the kids were understanding how to use their student e-cards. So that's one way I combined a form inside a Wakelet and a Flipgrid. And then also, like I said, there was some other, like I had a YouTube video and some other things in that. Something else that I have done with Wakelet, another example of a lesson that I've app smashed is this is just like a mock lesson. This is not a for real lesson. So if you click on this link in the presentation, it's not a for real lesson. I just put some stuff in for a mock lesson. But basically here, this would be like an example that maybe I did with a math teacher. And so you can record a Flipgrid short. So I recorded a little short saying, this is what this lesson is about. I included a math instructional video, a PhET simulation. And then instead of a form, you can also put Kahoots in there. You can put Kahoot math challenges or Kahoot, any kind of challenge. Kahoot now has challenges that you can do that are not like normally with Kahoot, you'd have a whole class and you'd be competing at the same time, but now they allow you to do challenges. So if you didn't want to use a form, you could put in a Kahoot challenge. So that was that link right here if you wanted to look at that example. Now I want to show you this Wakelet board that Kathy and Seth did. It's called The Art of App Smashing. And inside this Wakelet board, they have a ton of different other apps that you can smash with Wakelet. And let me go back to Wakelet and let me show you. So when you're editing a Wakelet and you want to include other apps in there, so I showed you how I did a Flipgrid short. You can directly, Flipgrid is now integrated with Wakelet, so you can directly record a short with Flipgrid right here. You can also directly upload images, any kind of images, a Bitmoji scene, an image, PDFs, and other things. But anything that basically, if it's any type of app that there's a URL link, you can mash that with Wakelet to create a lesson. So the Art of App Smashing, and this is the link. If you click on this in our presentation, it's going to bring you to the Art of App Smashing Wakelet board. And they have a ton of different programs that you can app smash with Wakelet. Buncee, now I'm not too familiar with Buncee or Nearpod because I don't use them often. I'd like to start using them. But here's some more examples if you'd like to see how you could smash Flipgrid with Wakelet. Genially, Book Creator. I'm going to talk to you about Book Creator, but I just wanted to show you, they have all sorts of examples here. One that I really liked is that I use merge cubes, and I never thought about mashing the merge cube information into a Wakelet. And you could put in your Wakelet, you could put in your lesson, your merge example, and then you could have a forum in it. You could have a Flipgrid short, and you could combine all four of those. So some of the examples they had were, and this is a link in that on Flipgrid on how to combine. There's a lot of different examples of how you can combine Flipgrid and Wakelet, but I want to show you the merge one. So say you're going to use Wakelet and you want to app smash it with Merge Cube. And this is where I got this link. I went here to the Art of App Smashing. I went to their Wakelet board and I clicked on merging with Wakelet. And there are all sorts of example lessons on how you can app smash merge cubes into Wakelet to create lessons. And I'm not going to click on all of those, but they're really cool if you want to check those out. All right. The next thing I wanted to show you was Book Creator. And I actually got the opportunity to use Book Creator for the first time to contribute to a book this past summer. And it was called the Digital Librarian Survival Toolkit. And I wanted to show you some of the things you can do to app smash with Book Creator. And Book Creator is free up to a certain point. I think you can make like 40 different books. And then once you get into that, you have to start paying for it. But you can get 40 books for free. But you can combine inside Book Creator. Let me get to a good page. Sorry, my internet is like really slow right now. And it's not wanting to go. Well, you can use QR codes in Book Creator. I don't know why that's not working, Heather. It just completely froze up.
It's because we're doing a live webinar. Duh.
Yes, and anytime we do, like I'm gonna try clicking on that link again.
Something's got to go wrong.
Right? No,
in your defense, StreamYard zaps my computer too. So
does it?
Yes, it does. It does. That's why it always blinks yellow, because I'm still obsessed with Snap Camera. Hey, Abed. It's because like it just sucks up all my bandwidth. So don't feel so bad. But shameless plug, I did get one of those Google routers to mesh my house. Game changer. Loved it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to work on that.
I'm gonna let you get back.
No, you're all good. Eventually, if it would actually work. So in this, I was going to show you some examples, because inside Book Creator, you can add all sorts of different links to other apps. You can add links to ChatterPix, QR codes, Flipgrids, Screencastify. In fact, my whole section inside the book is about virtual tours. So I put in information on Google Earth and Tour Creator, which is eventually about to be obsolete. But I'm just going to exit out of that.
We need you to repeat that. What are they getting rid of Tour Creator?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
It's, I think in 2021, I sent her the link the other day. It's going to phase out, and all of I guess the components of it is actually built into Google Earth now. And so they're going
to bring Tour Builder and Tour Creator together.
Yes. So it's not going to be a separate entity.
Well, I did hate the name Tour Creator. So it would be nice if I only knew one. Okay.
And I like using Google Poly too.
Ooh, that is some app smashing goodness right there.
So you can actually, well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So, but if you decide to use Book Creator, I did put some links in here on some apps you can use with Book Creator. So you can scroll down here. If you use any of these apps right here, ChatterPix, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, stop motion, green screen. You can add any of those in Book Creator to create a whole teaching guide for your class to flip through and look at, and you can smash all those apps inside Book Creator. There's another link in here where it talks about smashing Google tools with Book Creator, and it's a whole article, and I just put the link in here for you to go through and look at. There's so much you can, it's kind of like, Book Creator is kind of like Wakelet, whereas you can pretty much put anything into Book Creator, any of the apps, just like you can with Wakelet. It's kind of like the perfect conduit for app smashing and storing all the other apps that you want to combine together. Now, one of my absolute favorite things is to combine.
Amanda,
yes.
Let me stop you for just a minute. Somebody asked, is the book available in the Book Creator library? I don't think that book, is that book that y'all did the librarian one available?
Yes, it is. And you should be able to directly click on the link in this presentation. It's this link right here. So you should be able to click that. If there's some kind of issue, email me and I will send you the link, because it is phenomenal. I think there were 30 of us, maybe 40 of us that contributed to that ebook. So email me if this link is not working, email me and I can send you the link for to that book. And there's more coming out. Christina is putting out other books with epic app smashing, epic tools, and different things like that. So be on the lookout for that. One of the tools that I like to use is ChatterPix and Doink, Doink, however you want to pronounce it. This is kind of a lame example. I'm sorry for my lame example, but I'm gonna play it real quick. I am the only person to win a Nobel Prize in. Can you hear that, Heather?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what I did was I went and got a copyright-free photo of Mary Curie. And so what I did was I went to Chatterpix app, and you draw a line on whatever it is you want to talk, and you narrate something. Then you can take it, you can record it on a green screen in Doink or Doink, and you can record it and you can put whatever background you want. So this is kind of a lame example, but what I did was I used in Doink, I put this background, the science background, and then I did a green screen video of Mary Curie, and I illustrated it. I mean, what do you call it? Yeah. But you could do this for all sorts of lessons. You could have the kids, you could do quick learning checks. You could do stuff for fun, like have your pet explain a math problem, and they can take their dog and put the picture in, and they can have Chatterpix and they can say, this is how you multiply or whatever. You can take your Bitmoji or the kids' Bitmojis, and you can make them talk, and you can put it, smash it with Doink, the green screen, and you can put in whatever background you want to put into.
Now, Chatterpix is just an iOS app, right?
Yes. So Chatterpix is iOS. So you'd have to do it on an iOS device, and then upload it to, like I used my phone. You can use an iPad and smash those apps. There's a how-to video on here. So if you want to learn how to do this, there's a how-to video. You can click on that and it will take you straight to a video on how to combine these. The possibilities are endless with combining, smashing those apps. Another thing I like to do is Canva, make Canva backgrounds and smash it with Doink. So what I did was, for instance, last year at the book fair, and I always use like my mom and my nephew as my examples for webinars. So we had a book fair and it was Grandparents' Day. And so I created a custom background in Canva. And then I had them stand in front of my green screen and I put them together with Doink. Same with this. We had an orientation. Look at my sweet little nephew. But I made an orientation background using Canva. And then I smashed it in Doink and put them in that. Now, another thing that I just learned about, and again, this is a horrible example, but you could do
some grace, sister. Seriously.
Well, I was just kind of putting some examples together to show them. But say you want to do a book talk, and it doesn't even have to be a book talk. Let me just show you. This is an example of how you can use Doink and Canva to create. And it's lagging there. All you have to do is record using a green screen and add it to your Canva background. So say you wanted to do a book talk, or say you wanted to do a science concept, or say you wanted, the kids did a math problem, and you could, in Canva, you could superimpose their math problem right here, and then you could put their name and then make the Canva background, and then go over with the green screen, and you could add them talking in the little box. I love doing this. I'm going to do more of it this year, but I thought that was kind of cool. I saw a really cool one on Twitter yesterday where a guy had a really neat one, but you can put your little window, you can put whatever you want in the background, the little window, and the kids can talk right here. Or teachers could talk. You could do your own book talks, or you could explain concepts. It's kind of jazzes up a video rather than just have a video of yourself just talking. You could have a little Canva background, put it in the green screen. I just thought that was kind of neat. Now, as far as smashing apps for virtual trips, I do this all the time. And so just an example would be, so I do virtual tours, and let me make this a little bigger. I should have had this bigger already. But what I do is I use Google Slides, and then throughout Google Slides, I go in and I use things like Google Earth. And so I have a link to Google Earth. So I've put a whole Google Earth project into this slideshow for the kids. NASA collections, that was Google Arts and Culture link, and 360-degree videos. So you can find all sorts of images and tours, and you can put all those together in a Google slideshow, which is what I like to use to create virtual trips. And there's Google Earth, Google Arts and Culture. I love Google Poly, Google Trek, and you can smash all those together. You don't just have to use one of those For a virtual trip, you can combine all of them and use the best of each of those categories for virtual trips. And what I did was I included a link right here. So if you want to go and look at some of my virtual trips to see the different apps that I smashed for that, you're welcome to click on that. It'll take you right there. And finally, before I switch it over to Heather, Meet the Merrills. This is an excellent, well, every time I try to click on, there's a website down there, but they have all these kind of videos on there. Like this is an example of app smashing with some chatter picks and some other information, but they have a volume 1 and a volume 2 book. And so I put those links in here, and basically what they do, because like, for instance, Heather was talking about she asked me if something was iOS. What the Merrills have done is they have shown all of these different apps that you can combine together. So like apps that work well with Flipgrid and Seesaw. And then they will give you the level of difficulty. So if you want to smash Flipgrid and Seesaw, level of difficulty 1 out of 5, it shows you what platforms you need. And then it gives you a how-to guide on how to smash those apps. And this thing is full of information. Buncee and Seesaw, how to app smash Buncee and Flipgrid, chatter picks and Flipgrid. And again, it gives you the difficulty level, and it tells you like this is iOS only, so you'd have to use an iOS device. But there's all sorts of different apps. And then they have a volume 2, which is phenomenal. Same thing, they go even further in depth on some of the things. iMovie, how to app smash iMovie and Flipgrid, shows you the difficulty level and the platforms you use. And then they give a complete how-to. Not only do they give a complete how-to, they also give a video tutorial. So say you are using iMovie and you're using Seesaw separately, you could learn how to smash them together. Say you are using iMovie, Flipgrid, and Seesaw, smash those together. So this is a little volume 1, volume 2. There's Book Creator again, and it shows you how to smash all of those apps. And I didn't want to go through and show you each and every one of them. I just wanted to put the tutorial, the ebooks, volume 1 and 2 on here so that you could kind of go through and decide what you wanted to do and look at the how-tos on how to do that. And so now I am turning it over to Heather. I'm going to take myself out, or does Bonnie have to take me out?
I think Bonnie has to do it. Wait, Amanda, you're not supposed to just leave.
Sorry, I removed myself. Sorry.
Well, look, while we...
No, that was me. I was just being funny. I know she meant her story. I just thought it'd be funny.
She just left. I was like, oh.
Hi, guys, I'm done.
Oh, when we've entered the Matrix. Okay, just to recap before you switch. All right, I feel like I learned far too much there. So one, tour creator and tour builder going to be together, which is good for my PD purposes. They're ever all the, what is Buncee? Okay, that is like the new trend.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so from what I understand, it's almost like interactive hotspots, it seems like to me. The things that I've seen, like you put little pictures and you kind of click on the pictures, and I know there's more to it, but that's kind of what it seems like.
I need education companies to up their game with names. Okay. Like the other day, a friend of mine sent me a list of like, do you know any of these? And it was like Quiz His, Kahoot, Freckle, you know, and like all this stuff. And I was like, we got to do better. We got to do better for our parents because we sound like lunatics handing all these names out. So like, this is my PSA, all you education companies. Please stop.
And Freckle used to be Front Row. And then for some reason they changed their name. I don't know why, but.
If you do want to learn more about Buncee, I know Shannon McClintock Miller, she's a librarian. She posts a lot on Twitter about Buncee and how to use it. I just haven't been able to delve into it.
We need normal names. I really like this resource for app smashing. If I'm totally going to be sending that out. I'm probably going to divide these up into little snippets and just send them out.
Go for it.
Shannon Moore, Patrice Lemoyne right here is my best friend. So she works in EBR. She's a librarian too. So she's super librarian. I used to work with her school. I know I had to go to the high schools, but she's my heart. All right. So I will back to you, Heather. You are gonna take it away with all kinds of
Okay,
fun.
y'all can see my screen on the built-in computer
can.
applications?
We
Okay.
can see your screen.
Awesome. All right. Well, you know, as we all have those technology moments where everything stops working, like Google Drive did today for whatever reason, that decided it didn't want to work while we were trying to put our presentation together. Thanks. Appreciate that. Sometimes you just have to rely on what you have built into the devices that you have in front of you at the school. And so some of the things that you can use are your snipping tool, which is basically taking either an entire screenshot or just a part of a screen. You also have your camera or video tools that are built in if you've got that webcam. And then you also have a voice recorder. So you can put all of these components together and, you know, put it in a doc, put it in a presentation where you've done a video, you've taken a picture of something, you've narrated over on the top of it. So do it for math, for science, for social studies. You know, you can send kids on a scavenger hunt and have them take pictures of things around the school or outside. What do they see? And then they can narrate over that and explain why they chose that image. How did they solve that problem? You know, take a picture of a passage in a book, read it aloud. You know, talk about vocabulary words. You know, so the things that you can do with the stuff that's already built into your computer are endless. If you're not sure how to locate the specific things on your computer, I did show how to find the snipping tool. You can use the Windows key, Shift S, or you can just search for it down here in the search bar. And on a Mac, you actually have 3 different commands that you can use. Shift Command 5 does pull up a menu, and then there is a link to a video right here that will kind of go through how to use all of those different things. This is an example of something that I did with my students last year, where we did a fraction app smash, where I had them utilize the camera on their computer, the you know, the recording option on their computer, and then all they had to do was actually go in and put that information, you know, by uploading it from the computer onto their slide. And so I had a collaborative slide deck going, and if you click on this, it will take you where you can get a copy of this template. And what I did was I just duplicated the slide for every student and put their name in the presenter notes so they knew which one they could do. And for the title, I had them tell me, you know, what were they going to do? Are they adding fractions, subtracting fractions? They had an option of doing a whole number fraction combination, you know, mixed numbers if they wanted to. These were pre-programmed for them. So if they wanted to do a whole number, they would just put the whole number where the question mark was. This is actually a little table so that they can make their fraction. Again, they can choose add or subtract, again, the second number, and then their answer. So they got to actually make the problem that they wanted to solve. They worked it out. They could do it on paper, on whiteboard, however they wanted to do it. They would hold it up, take a picture of it, and I gave them the directions on how to do that. And then what they had to do was go down to the search bar on their computer and look for video. And I explained to them, you know, how to take a video of themselves. And so they had whiteboards, or they could tilt the camera down to see the paper, where they actually had to go in, work it out, and explain all of the steps so that I knew what they were talking about. But it also became a valuable resource for everybody in the class to see good work and to get explanations on how to do it from more than one point of view. Another great pairing is Screencastify and Edpuzzle. So Screencastify is a Google Chrome extension, and it's a free extension. It does limit you to a 5-minute recording if you are using the free version. If you upgrade, and I'm not exactly sure how much that is a year, you do have unlimited video capabilities. But it's this little icon right here, and if you were to click on that, it lets you either do it like a webcam, it lets you just do a tab, it lets you kind of do your entire computer, so you can create any kind of screencast that you need to. It will automatically upload into Edpuzzle. You can connect those two things. Screencastify will also automatically publish to Google Classroom. You can publish it to Wakelet. You can send it out through Remind. So there's lots of things that you can connect with Screencastify to get your videos out. But what you do with Edpuzzle is you go in and you take your lesson and you stop the video at certain spots, and you either give information, you give notes, or you ask the students to answer a question. They can do a multiple choice question. They can do a short response question. You can do it where they cannot scrub through the video. They have to watch every second of it, and they cannot pass up any questions. When they're doing it, they also have the option to re-watch those sections as often as they want to until they feel comfortable enough to answer that question. Right here, I do have an example of one that I did this past spring. And this was done when we all got sent home and I was, how are we going to teach these kids? We were calling it remote learning at that time. But what I did was I just created a Google slide presentation. I programmed it as though I was going to, teach it like I would in the class. And then I went through my entire lesson, teaching them how to, go through, and we were talking about multiplying fractions.
Number that we are looking for. So n is 3/10.
So we were looking at word problems. So I went through, I did practice problems with them. I explained the vocabulary. And then what I had them do is after I've done a few, I then had them do one. And so they would have to work it. And then when they came to the question, they could not go any further. So here is the question they would be asked, and they had to choose the answer, submit it, and then they could continue on. I disabled the skip for them, but you can see where right here it says rewatch. So if they weren't sure, they could rewatch it so that they could feel a little bit more confident in their answers. And again, I had multiple choice and some short response in there for them.
Heather, question.
Yes.
So, because I've never used Edpuzzle. So when you use Edpuzzle, you're using Google Slides to create the pictures inside?
Right. So this was a slide deck. Okay. You could really, anything that you wanted to do your screencast with. So if you had something that was already created, whether it's PowerPoint, docs, slides, drawings, websites that you're going to that you want to show, maybe you decide you want to do some sort of Edpuzzle on copyright, and so you talk about, also where do we need to go? And then you can have them click, oh, well, you would search for what? Creative Commons. These are the kinds of things that you could do. The nice thing about Edpuzzle too is you don't have to make your own videos. You can pull any video that has been either created and you can upload it, or one that's from YouTube. So it connects to YouTube as well. And you can search for any video that's there and then add questions over content that's already been created.
Nice.
I know, right? I just wanted to teach my way because I'm just, I just wanted them to get it. So I just did that. It was easier for me to do it that way. But again, you can upload any video content into Edpuzzle. Okay, what do I have next? Oh, are you serious? Reload. Look what you did, Amanda. This is your fault.
Sorry. Look, they're loaded.
No, I don't know what's on that one. Go look at yours and tell me what was there, and I'll skip. Okay. I was a math teacher, so a lot of my examples are math related, but I feel that teaching elementary math digitally is so hard for people to kind of grasp their mind around. Like, how can we do this? Because lots of what you do in an elementary math classroom is like touching and moving stuff around. So what do you do when you can't have the kids touching and moving stuff around? Well, you go digital with it. So what I did was I included a couple of really great places for free manipulatives for math, Toy Theater, and then the Math Learning Center. These are my two go-tos when it comes to manipulatives. So if you click there, it will take you directly to it. And then what you have here is all of these different manipulatives that you can choose from, and they are free. And you could do pretty much anything that you wanted to with that. So let's take a look at bear counters if we wanted to look at, some smaller, or not smaller, I'm thinking smaller little kids, younger age, where you are comparing or contrasting, or you're adding and subtracting. So, if I have 3 and it has sound effects, you can come down here and turn that off. Where, tell them to count out 3 pink bears. All right, so you're seeing, can they one-to-one match with 3? Do they know the color pink? You know, that's something that you can easily see right there. You know, 2 red bears. Okay, how many bears are there in all? Well, once they've done whatever you need them to do with the manipulatives here, you can come back here, use your snipping tool, take a picture of that. Once you do the picture of that, you can put that into a Jamboard. You can put that on a Google slide. You can put it in a Google drawing. You could use Vocaroo to have them do their explanation real quick and then take that link to put onto Google Slides to add that narration. You can do Screencastify. Flipgrid even has a screencast option that gives you up to 10 minutes, but you could also take that snipping image and save it as a picture and upload it as a picture onto the screen. And I have an example of that a little bit later in the presentation, where you have your picture and then you can stand next to the picture and do the explanation of what's going on. Just to kind of show you the Math Learning Center, I really, really, really like their fraction blocks. Fractions are so hard for them to understand. So these are Chrome web-based. You can also download iOS apps to, you know, a MacBook or your phone or your iPad, and they also have them in the Chrome store for those students who are using Chromebooks. But if I click here, let's open the web app. And the great thing about these fraction blocks is, again, you have the option of looking at your rectangular models or your circle models. I prefer the rectangular ones. They're a little bit easier for me to understand. So you click there and then you can choose how you wish to partition that. So you can partition it any way you want to. If they don't have the number that you like, you can put it in there right there. Let's just go with 6. All right, so if I take this, I can drag it out to kind of spread it out a little bit. And this represents my one whole. So I could come here. If I needed to shade some, 2/3, let's see. Now I have 4/6. And then if I wanted to do another one, and I say that I want this one also split into 6, notice that it keeps the same size whole. So that's kind of really important when you're taking a look at math and you're comparing fractions. You can't compare them if they aren't the same size whole to start with. You can't say that 1/2 is always equal to 1/2, because 1/2 of a watermelon is a whole lot more than 1/2 of an orange, unless you can manage to find a watermelon-sized orange, and then I want to see a picture of that. Pick or it didn't happen is how I feel about that one. And let's say, let's put a thirds down here, and we're taking a look at, you know, fractions that are equivalent. And I could come here and I could do a, you know, different color. And then when I'm done, I have this math editor here where I could say that, okay, 4/6. And when I hit done, it does go and put it in that up and down format for me. So 4/6, let's add a little bit more. Let's say is equal to, and I could do it all in one block if I wanted to as well. 2/3. And then again, I can make it a little bit bigger if I want to. And same thing goes with, you could take a snip of this. You could, you know, then import it into your Jamboard, which is you know, a whiteboard application right here. So if I were to snip it, I could cut and paste that picture right here. I could add text to explain it. I could annotate over it with a marker. I could add those images into anything. I could put it into a Google drawing where, again, I'm going to prove that, you know, that 2/3 and 4/6 are the same. And maybe I'm going to do it in different sizes. Maybe I'm going to do one in a bar model versus one in the circle model. So, you know, your choices there are kind of endless as far as what you're going to show with the different fractions. So that's one way I really like to take that math and make it digital, is by using those manipulatives and then utilizing these applications here. And again, if you click on these, it will take you to the websites for each one of those. And they're, you know, you can go anywhere your imagination can take you with these sorts of things. Okay, I'm not an ELA teacher, but this book snaps thing has always really caught my attention. I thought it was fun, and I really wanted I have 2 daughters, and one's in high school, and she's all about the Snapchat. I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. But you know what? I'm not going to judge. I've been 15 before. So anyway, they use a Snapchat all the time. And I'm like, God, if only your ELA teachers would utilize that, like tap into what y'all are so interested in and utilize that in your classroom and make what you're doing a little bit more interesting for you. So Tara Martin, and if you click here, it'll take you to her website. She kind of came up with this whole idea where, using Snapchat, and then, you can use your Bitmojis in there and stuff. Take a picture of the book, record your personal reflection. You can show your emotions by putting the Bitmojis on there. Now they have so many things that you can add on there in the form of like gifts and stickers and stuff. So, I mean, you can really jazz it up. And then find the text evidence. There's so much about finding that text evidence and annotation when it comes to reading now, that I think that if kids were given an opportunity to do it like this, they may not grumble so much about it. I hear a lot of grumbling at my house.
There's a whole on Instagram. There's a whole, like, you can follow the hashtag book snaps.
Yep, down here.
Amazing ones on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I just think tap it again. I know I'm repeating myself, but tap into what the kids are interested in. If you can get their enthusiasm, you're going to get so much more out of them. Their creativity is going to come out, and when they're creating, they're showing their understanding. And it's, my oldest had a project at the end of the school year last year that was similar to this. And it wasn't done through Snapchat. It was done in Google Slides, but it was the same concept. It was take a picture of the book, use like a highlighter or whatever to annotate what it is and add your Bitmoji on there to show your reaction to what you're reading. And I was like, I love this. But I just wish more people would do that. Now, if you have younger students who do not have a Snapchat, again, like I just said for her, you don't have to do it that way. I did not create this. I found this on Twitter, actually. And if you click here, it will take you to this presentation, which I do have. Is this it? No, that's not it. I didn't want to click on it and do yet another one. Yep. It's hidden somewhere. I'll just click on it again. It's fine. But it'll be like this in template mode. And if you click use template, it'll make a copy to your drive. It came from the Chromebook Infused Classroom by Holly Clark. And so she also has a couple of more, the Google Infused, the Microsoft Infused. This is her latest one. But it tells you kind of what are book snaps. It talks you kind of through that, gives an example. But then here's some instructions and more instructions. She's programmed and put stickers on these slides for students to use. So if you were to, share this out with your kids, they don't have to go searching for these things, which, could be scary. I know in those gift apps and stuff, some of it's highly school inappropriate. So by pre-programming some of these things, it gives students the opportunity to use the things that they love, but in a safe environment. And there's lots of different things. Again, she talks about even extending it one step further using Flipgrid, Book Creator. And then here is sort of a plain template of what they would use when they're putting their book pictures in there. And I just thought this was a great resource. Again, if you click on that, it'll make a copy for you. And it gives you a good starting off point. But again, it makes it where you can do it in a safe environment. And you could always, since you're going to make a copy of it, add more to it for yourself.
You could even take once they all create their book snaps, you could even smash that into Wakelet and create a showcase, or with Book Creator and create a whole showcase and smash those apps together.
Think about how great parents, they would love to see that. Even, their own kids' stuff, but other kids' stuff, and just all of the wonderful things that you're doing in your classroom, taking pictures of that and making a Wakelet board with that and just sharing it, because it can be a public link, or you can share it where it's even an unlisted link if you wanted to make sure that you were still protecting your students, but share that information with parents so they can kind of get a snapshot of what's going on inside of your classroom. Okay, so this is a website called Classtools.net. It used to be totally free. They are kind of stepping it up a little bit, and they do have a premium version of it. So some of them you have to pay to use it. their yearly subscription is $20. So it's extremely affordable, but they have some really cool things on here. This 3D gallery generator and fake book. Okay, so these would be two things that you could do, art, you could do social studies with, science, and going and using Google Arts and Culture to pull images, to pull, historical artifacts, to find primary documents. Google Scholar, if you need your students, starting to use those peer-reviewed journals to find information, you could use that. And then this right here is just a link that'll take you to PBS. They had put together a list for their history detectives program that they have, online research sites. So these are some great sites that would be good for finding accurate information that students can use when they're doing their research. But if we come right here, you will see all of the different things that the Classtools has. We did a couple of years ago fake books for explorers. So part of 5th grade social studies in Louisiana is taking a look at the indigenous Americans and then all of the explorers that started to come over, take over the land, colonize until we got to, the constitutions, basically kind of, where we go up to. But what they had to do was they had to create a fake book for their explorer. They had to find, images. They had to treat it as though the explorer was, typing their Facebook post. By 5th grade, most of them know what Facebook is and how it works. So it was having to put yourself in the shoes of the explorer and talk as though, just wanted to let everybody know, got on the boat, won't be able to talk, probably going to be on here for 2 months or so, so something like that. They had a really good time with it. Here's the 3D gallery. Again, this one's a premium one, but there's a lot of different things on here that you could do. So these are just fun ways that they kind of program for you, ways to do things, and you just kind of put the information inside of it. Another one that is similar to that is flippity.net. If you've never used flippity.net, it's a website, but it's also a Google Sheet add-on. What it does is it takes your information that you put into a Google Sheet and turns it into interactive content for you. So here's, 3 different ones that really kind of take that app smashing to a next level. You can do a scavenger hunt, a board game, a timeline. So if I open this, again, tons of options here. This is completely free. But if I come over here to the timeline, I can look at a demo, but I can also look at a template. So I'm going to look at what the template looks like. When you click on that, it gives you the Google Sheet already programmed. So you don't have to do any formulations, nothing. All you have to do is input your content. So this one right here is all about Mr. Rogers. So if you click on the example, all of this goes together with it. So if you notice, it starts here from when he was born, and you can even embed a presentation that's been created. You can do media credits. You can just put a link to a website in there. So, it doesn't have to just be information. So I'm going to come back here and click on this demo. This is how it looks. And I mean, it's not all that fabulous looking, but the content is really cool. So when you click on that, notice you get to see this right here that was put together. So you're creating all of these different things and then inputting it into your timeline. So this was just a tidbit of information. Keep going down. Look, they found images here. There's YouTube. So anything that you could put onto a timeline, if you find that information and then insert it in there. And again, if you're doing history, this is where that Google Arts and Culture really comes in handy. Okay, so FetSense is math and science. I'm going to take you and kind of show you about it. But again, you can do Screencastify, Flipgrid, Snippet, and put it into any of these. Now, the lovely thing about these simulations is that you can sort it based off of age level and subject. So you have physics and all of these things, chemistry, math, earth science, biology. So grade level here, let's take a look at middle school things. So it'll sort it out. Here again, you can see some of the math, get into the science as far as static electricity. Now, notice a lot of these, that used to be all Java, but they are transferring them over in Flash, sorry. They're transferring them over to HTML5, which will run anywhere and not need that Flash player. Okay. So notice you can put it directly into your Google Classroom, but if you've never clicked on these down here and you've been to this site, you're missing out. If you click on the 4 teachers, it'll give you an overview of the lesson, okay? It gives you a video primer to kind of explain what the concept is, but not only that, teachers have submitted lesson plans and activities, and you can look at them by level, okay? And they're free. All right, so if I were to click on this one for middle school, notice I have student directions, teacher notes, post tests. Okay, so you could take any of these things and then put them into, let's say, your, Google Drive, and then turn it into, right here, turn it into a Google Doc.
Heather, you just changed my life. I didn't even know that this is all on Fit. No,
so
I've never clicked on those
Word doc
links.
and put it into my Google Drive, and again, open as Google as a Google Doc, transfers it. The students could go and type in here, again, put this in your Google Classroom. Here are all of the questions that you need. And then they had this image right here where they have to go and they have to do a drawing, but it's really kind of hard to do that. So I snipped it and I put it into, well, it's not going to want to do it right there for me now. Here we are. Into Google Drawings, and I made it a forced copy link. And of course, I would have to teach my students how to do this and how to actually take this when they're done and put the link into their worksheet so that I can see their work. But once it's in here, then you have a little bit more freedom as far as, like using your Scribble tool or using the drawing tools to make those images right there. And then all they would have to do is come back in here and change the link on their doc to be the one that has their work on it, and then they can turn it into Google Classroom for you. But all of them have, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. All of them have lessons and things. I mean, tons of them. Some of them have more than others, but if you notice, go down, and if you build an activity, you can share an activity. It even has some translations right here for you as well for different languages. So again, lots of different options right there as far as the PhET simulations go, again, both math and science. And the last one that I'm going to share, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because everybody's using it now, is your Bitmoji Classroom. That right there is an app smash for those of you that never even thought of it that way. Okay, so yes, we've created this really cute scene where I have my Gibbs and I have my Abby. Those are my dogs. They're right by me right now. They don't ever leave my side. And this was one that I did at the very last week of school this spring, where all I did was say, okay, Monday, we're going to do these things. But by doing these hyperlinks, it brought them to different places and different apps that they had to do things with. This one wasn't as great as some of the other ones because, again, it was the last week of school. But I provided them their apps and everything they needed right there in my little Bitmoji scene so that it was easy for them to find. Amanda and I did do a webinar on Bitmoji. And if you click right here on this Wakelet, it will take you to our Wakelet board full of resources for all things Bitmoji. And for more ideas, you can follow the App Smash on Twitter. And all you have to do is put hashtag App Smash, and you have people who do things and share it out and use that hashtag. You will see some examples right there.
I went in yesterday and looked at it. I had to stop. It was like going down a rabbit hole. Like I had to stop.
Really?
Yeah, and people post the most amazing app smashing things that they do on Twitter.
I know. I think, and I'm like, gosh, people are so creative. Sometimes I have these strokes of genius where I can come up with creative ideas, and others I feel like I'm just so basic and can't come up with anything. So I'm thankful for people who do have really great ideas and share them out so that I can be like, oh, okay, there's an idea that I can use. So we do want to thank you for joining us tonight for this past hour. This link will stay active on the GEG Global, so you can watch it anytime you want to. Here is our Wakelet board of App Smash resources. As we find more things, we continually add them to it. We do have another webinar coming up on September 17th for navigating copyright, Creative Commons, and fair use. So Amanda, I gave you an idea for Edpuzzle for that one. And the both of us, we are presenting at the ISTE Creative Constructor Lab. Do you want to talk about that, Amanda?
It's just, we're going to be presenting on virtual trips. How to actually, that's going to involve app smashing too.
It is.
So it's going to be involving app smashing and putting together all sorts of different apps and websites and things to create virtual tours.
Absolutely.
That'll be neat. That'll be neat. And yeah, I put Amanda sent me the bit.ly for this presentation, and I did.
Fantastic.
I put it in the description on YouTube.
Awesome.
So yeah. So now,
yeah, if y'all have
mm-hmm.
any questions, you know, hit us up. There are email addresses. There are our Twitters and our Wakelets. You know, follow us, ask us questions, share what you come up with us. We love to see new ideas. You can take down my screen if you want. But
it's so fun.
Yeah, hopefully y'all have learned something new and you can utilize this, because I know that everything's kind of strange right now, but hopefully this can kind of make that digital, you know, school life a little bit better for you.
Heather, I learned like 5 things new just from you.
That was cool. That was cool. Like we have Nearpod in my district, so I always use FET that way, but the idea that teachers could just do it directly would be a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to explain Nearpod too. So that'll be a big thing for me. Big deal. Big deal. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. You can follow all of I am GEG South Louisiana. And so I always like to have lovely Louisiana people because we have so many good people to showcase. But I also am part of the bigger global GEG. So if you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you will find all things GEG South Louisiana and more. You can follow me on Twitter, reach out to any of us. They'll know the information. They can send you to me. At this point, if you Google Bonnie Shalette, I will come up and you'll be able to locate me. But find me any way you can. This is Mel. She's from Columbia. In the chat, she's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's really, really funny. I'm glad.
We're too epic. Oh, thanks.
The nicest.
I know.
So I'm gonna go ahead and,
it's like you have a rough day. Just do a presentation and let all the Google people tell you how lovely you are. It's fantastic.
It's the loveliest group of people.
Go Tigers, yes.
Right. See, Alfonso, no, I already love you, Alfonso. You didn't have to do that. Like you're already my favorite. He's from Texas. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the live broadcast. Watch the recording. I'm gonna get them to come back soon. And we're gonna keep doing this. So yeah. So thanks everybody so much.
Great.
And we'll
Thanks,
see you soon.
y'all.